Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks, a lot to do. World Series Game 5, NBA, NFL. We got Josh, we got Brian. Boys, it's a long summer of baseball. This could be the final night. I guess we'll just start with the baseball. The Rangers are one win away from their first ever World Series title. I know you guys have been in and out betting it. So I'll just lead off here. I did play Eovaldi over 4.5 Ks. I don't have a feel for the side. If you're Arizona, you can make the case, hey, we got our best pitcher going tonight. If we win tonight, all we got to do is win game 6, and Texas doesn't have a pitcher for game 7 because Scherzer's out. But I like over 4.5 Ks for Eovaldi. He's got 36 and 30 postseason innings. He pitches deep in these games. He's averaged 7+ strikeouts per start in the playoffs. So I'm on over. Brian, Josh, you guys want to jump in? Anything feel for tonight? Any takeaways here with the World Series?
No, I'm all with that. I do think I was saying before the air when I saw that you were on the Eovaldi strikeout prop. My first thought was, damn, that's a really good line. I think it's one of those lines where he's been so effective with his whiff stuff in the playoffs. He has the leash. Like I said earlier, his outs is 15.5, juice the over. So if you're saying the books are expecting him to go at least 5 innings, I feel like he finds 5 strikeouts.
That logic adds up to me as well. The way that the D-backs have been striking out a bit, I think the righty coming in now after seeing Heaney for 5 innings is interesting too. But I don't have a feel either, man. Like I've just been blindly saying Rangers because I'm just like if it feels like their time, and I do believe in the like tired run coming to an end for the D-backs at this point. I think it's a pretty good situation for the Rangers when you have Eovaldi taking on obviously the best pitcher there for the D-backs as well, and in a situation that I think he's going to gobble some innings. So I would be with the strikeout bets with him. I think he's probably likely to go past 5. Like, does he have a little bit more of a leash with the 3-1 lead at this point?
I would
I
think
would
so. Oh,
I
you
would
got a
think
day off
so.
tomorrow. Like if he's not pitching well, they're not gonna force it. But if he's going, like, hey, this is it. Your chance to win a World
Yeah,
Series. If you think he's your best option, like
yeah, you keep it in.
again, Bochy's one of these old school managers. He's not one of these younger guys that like, oh, I'm gonna just go by the analytics and I'm gonna yank my guy at first sign of trouble. Like, remember, it was bases loaded, nobody out against the Astros in the ALCS in the 5th inning. He let him pitch through it. Like nobody does that anymore.
And
So
and I'll tell you
he
what,
got out of
he
it.
got out of it,
He
which
got
is
out of it.
big, if you're backing him tonight
Right.
because having a past success is also helpful. What juice did you get that at earlier this morning?
It's -110. It's reasonable. Basically a coin flip, which I just again I don't understand. The only thing that worries me a little bit, second
Oh
time
my
you see the same team in 5 days, that favors
Yeah.
the hitter. You're a little more. You recognize the breaking ball, you recognize the release point, but still, I mean, you look at his 5 starts in the playoffs:
yeah.
7, 8, 8, 9, and one time he went under was 4. So I mean, he's gone over this 4 out of 5. So to me, it's an overwatch him get lit up in the third, which, hey, your guy gets lit up or something happens like that. There's always ways to win the under. It's not like this is some just wildly mispriced price line. I just think it's a good value at 4.5. And if you want to just have some fun and ladder him and parlay it with whatever with Gowan, what do you guys think of Gowan's case 4.5? That to me looks a
Yeah.
little low too. He's been a lot better at home.
I think it's a little low for him too, but
Yeah.
for all the reasons we just backed Eovaldi with the leash, it's the exact opposite for the team with the back against the wall, where even if he is your best option, it's you don't have the chance to really roll the dice if you're in an elimination game where every decision you make is going to be bad. But when you're in that elimination game, it looks a lot worse if you trust the guy that looks off and then happens to allow the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any feel on the outs? Both of them 15.5. Again, that's for me, it'd be over on Eovaldi. Gowan, it's tricky because when you're facing elimination, first sign of trouble, like they got to be more aggressive getting him out. So I don't know if I'd play Gowan.
Also,
Yeah.
Gallen, I know he's been better at home historically, but he also just hasn't been sharp in the playoffs as
No, not at
much.
all.
Not it's not even really a home and road split. It just I don't know. And then it's let me see how many games does he have at home in the playoffs? I want to make sure I have that right because I know he was home
I think
versus
just the
Philly,
Philly one.
just the Philly game, and even then he allowed what 4 earned runs, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Do you guys
know.
think any chance Arizona comes back? I see 9-1 to win the series. Is that enough for you to take a chance?
I'll say one thing. I know we haven't been able to nail down all aspects of things, but if I'm betting them to come back, I would really want more than 9-1 to win 3 straight against this Texas
Well,
team.
a 3-team parlay pays 6-1. Just
I
like
get
that's
that. No,
those are fair
I
odds, and you're getting
understand the
9-1.
implied. I'm just saying I understand the implied odds. I'm speaking more as a fan of baseball, not a numbers nerd, and just saying that this Texas team has just been
Yeah,
crazy good. Like it's
but
been unreal.
and I don't know that I'd bet it either, so but I'm just gonna make the case for it. I think the case is, hey, I got Gallen at home. He's been better. He's gonna be runner up for Cy Young probably. He's he's our best pitcher. If we can just win tonight, all we got to do is win game 6 with Kelly. And Texas doesn't have a pitcher for game 7. And Garcia's not on the roster anymore. Scherzer's not on the roster anymore. Like, hey, just win tonight. And you know what? You're 1 win away. If you're sitting there with 9-1, you can easily hedge that in game 7 and just basically, chop it or play it live or do whatever you want to do. So
Were the Rangers up 3-1 in their World Series when they lost in the 2010s, or was it 3-2?
they
I
were
think
up
they were
3-2 and they were a strike away
right. That's what it
on
was.
like
David
13
Freese.
different pitches. One of the great games of all time.
David Freese hit a double over the into the wall.
Yep.
That was insane. I went to a heavy metal concert with him like weeks later. Anyway,
With
more
David
importantly,
Freese?
yeah,
Did you really?
yeah, because I went to the University of Missouri, and that's where he came back and partied. And friend of a friend, whatever. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But anyway,
That's
yeah.
gonna be electric.
Also, just want to throw it out there. My love for Boch. Like, when does he start getting up into that best managers of all time kind of conversation? 3
This is
different
a
teams for World
chance.
Series.
It's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hard with
Gotta
baseball
win
to
this
know,
one.
like, all right, how much of this is great managing? How much is like you just get in, you get hot, and you get kind of. I don't want to. The word lucky sounds dismissive or whatever, but no, it's a fair point to bring up. Like, this team lost 100 games a couple years ago, and they spent plenty of money. But I mean, he's won a lot. He's won with not great teams. So again, I don't know how much of it is like. All right,
I think the thing that I attribute to him is like he's the fucking coolest dude in the room at all times, and
yeah,
he keeps a really cool clubhouse, and you don't get like inner clubhouse bickering no matter who's on his squad. Pretty impressive.
yep. And look at all the injuries. I mean, they're a big thing. The reason I bet him to win the World Series before this December 2nd, I'm looking at the ticket now. It's like, oh, they signed DeGrom. Well, DeGrom had pitched like, I don't know, 5 games for him, and they're still just fine. I never thought they had the pitching to win. I really didn't. But
Awesome.
it's a weird year where none of these teams really had great pitching. The Braves, the Dodgers, the Orioles didn't have that type of pitching. So I don't know. You guys have one word answer. Who wins tonight?
Give me Rangers. I want to go Rangers. I don't know.
Gosh,
Maybe
who
I'm
wins?
biased because Eovaldi just has
Split
been
the
that
split the
good
tie
in
here,
my
dude.
head.
You said Diamondbacks.
I said
Josh?
D-backs.
I'll go Rangers. I don't have a lot of conviction.
I know Tone Stamp said it yesterday at the D-backs or the team of destiny. It's hard to beat them, but watching that game last night, the Rangers didn't seem to care about destinies.
No,
I know. I'm just saying they mashed the ball. So
I don't know if I tweeted this.
crazy.
Diamondbacks are starting to remind me a little of the Miami Heat, where like
did say
Cinderella
that,
doesn't win the whole thing. Like these Florida Atlantic teams, they can get to the Final Four. Like Butler and George Mason, they get to the Final Four. The Heat can get to the finals. Like rarely you're just like, oh my god, that team won the whole thing. Like they can make a run and get to the finals, or World Series, but I don't know. It's Texas is probably going to win the World Series. Obviously, Seager minus 500 at DraftKings. It's interesting. Texas minus 1,200 to win the series, but Seager's only minus 500 to win it. Is there anybody besides Seager that you think could win if Texas wins?
It's tough. I mean, he hit that game-tying home run. It became tough right then and there, and then he just kept going since. I don't know if anyone can really catch up to him. Yeah, then he hit another nuke yesterday, so I think it'd be really.
It didn't
tough.
really matter yesterday, right? Like it was 8-0 or something. Like
he would have to go like 0 for 6 tonight in a game where Eovaldi pitched a perfect game for it to flip the script a little bit. I think it's got to be Seager if they win.
Somebody said, Will, we never talked about your punt plays on college football over the weekend. Yeah, I've just been giving out. Wake Forest is on their 3rd string quarterback, and you can bet at DraftKings flash props what will happen next drive. And as long as Wake starts on their own territory, just kept betting punt next drive and went like, I think 8-1 this week and 7-1 the week before. It's been a lot of fun. They're starting to juice it a little bit more, but yeah, it's been fun. You find some of these quarterbacks in college that just like can't play, that are just completely overmatching on some of these shitty teams.
Do they have that in the NFL? The next drive?
Next drive, I think so.
That's my new favorite live bet. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Because you have a little bit of time to think about it. It comes up while the offense is on the field, right?
Yeah, but you want to make sure the other offense doesn't turn it over and put you in field position where it punts out of the mix.
Yeah,
I don't know. I love this though.
No, it's fun. Look, I'm speaking against something I bet like 30 times in the past 2 weeks.
Totally. So no, you're just saying things to watch out for, which is like you're getting into the game theory. Like the only thing you want to watch out for is like if you've got a shit quarterback, like make sure he's not throwing screens to the cornerback who's gonna just come pick it off or whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, people are asking like in the chat, like, "Oh, are we doing Wake next drive?" I was like, "I got to see." They were playing Florida State. I was like, "I got to see what Florida State does." If Florida State fumbles on their own 20 and Wake gets the ball, then it's Wake at the +20. Then they're not punting from like the.
So you wait till it's like
I wait till
basically, like,
they have the possession.
got it.
Because I don't want like a block punt where it's like I don't
Yeah.
even get my
But yeah, you
chance to
go to
get it.
timeout, you have plenty of time to bet it, or you go to
Yes.
commercial, you go have plenty of time to bet it. That makes sense.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. It's labor intensive too because you're just sitting there watching the other team go, oh, it's third down and second. Oh, they punted. Where's the ball? Is field position right? But yeah. But
Yeah, that's awesome though. You become an expert on like teams' third down percentages.
well then and again, you could lose it. Like if they go for it, you're fucked. Or if the other team turns it over,
Yeah.
you're screwed. But like
That's sick.
One
I
long
tried to
pass
bet it with
interference.
yeah, exactly. I tried to bet it with the Giants one of the last drives. I was late to the party. I don't know what took me so long, but it was -2. Giants were -205 to punt on some of their drives. Like it was just such a
I'm
ridiculous
surprised
game.
with the way they were playing on Sunday. It wasn't like -800.
No,
I
I know.
mean, that
That's
game was so.
hilarious.
They did get in the end zone because I gave out live team total under 10.5, and they went from 3 to 10. I wasn't why I was just following on my phone. Like, how did they score? So that did scare me off a little bit.
DeVito scored a rushing touchdown, right?
Yeah,
And
Oh,
Danny
is that how
DeVito.
is that how
and
they
he's never
scored?
gonna see a NFL field again.
Yeah, I
I
mean, Danny
know.
DeVito, he put it in the end
Walk-off
zone.
touchdown to retirement.
I
I was
still
gonna
don't get why
say,
that kid would be on the team if you don't trust him to
I
throw
saw
the
some
Go out
ball.
on
tickets on
top,
Twitter.
DeVito.
I saw some tickets on Twitter too that people bet him live to score at like plus 1100 or plus 12. My first thought was,
Missing a
glad you,
zero,
I'm
huh?
glad you won, but
Missing a
who's
zero.
taking Danny DeVito? I know it's time to be, but like, who's taking this DeVito guy at those odds to score when they haven't
Awesome.
moved the ball all game? Like, glad it worked out, but that my first thought was, man, even though he was a starting
It
quarterback,
should have been
12 to
30 to
1,
1.
11 to 1. It should have been like 28 to 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's hilarious.
So nobody besides Seager, you guys don't think?
Nah, no. That's my boy too.
What's the guy who's in second? You say like in the odds for the
Simeon
MVP there?
11 to 1, who started to heat
Yeah.
up a little bit,
That
and
was
then
Yeah, I'm
I'm
my
gonna
that was
go
my
D-backs.
that was my bet that when we were putting them all together before the series started.
seeing it minus 750 is so funny though for
Yeah,
a World Series MVP.
I know.
I don't know if you can parlay this stuff. Is Seager at -500 worth throwing into stuff? It's just like a builder figuring, hey, it's if Texas is -1200, like Texas is gonna win. Seager is there value on? I know people have a hard time thinking like there's value on -500, -450, -450 at Bet Rivers. Is that worth throwing into parlay? Like, is that where like as long as they win, he
Yeah,
wins?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if they win tonight, I don't think anybody can come back
right.
could do enough,
Right.
right?
If it ever got to 7, that brings more guys in the mix where Seager gets cold, Simeon. So yeah, I guess
Right.
it's not a total lock, but probably Seager. Interesting. Um,
Yeah.
NBA. I went to bet Rockets Hornets over. It was 221, and it jumped to 222.5. I think I'm still gonna bet it.
Yeah. I
I
took it at
like
220.5. Is there nowhere 220s?
222.5 now.
Ah,
I mean,
that's in
what
the
are
last like hour and a half that it changed.
yeah, well, it's pretty recent. I mean, what are the chances it's gonna burn you? But like, hey, it does happen. It's just I hate playing a bad number. I like that. I'm curious what you guys think.
Bad.
OKC looks a little light at home, -3.5. Yeah,
I
I mean, both
know.
those two teams, OKC and the Hornets, they're young. They suck on defense. That's going to be you score, I score. So to me, that'll be in like the 230s or so. But
Yeah,
I
the
like OKC and I like
OKC.
Denver too. I don't know if you guys got anything.
You said OKC real quick, didn't you? Pelly's
Yes,
OKC. Yeah,
-3.5 at
the
home.
number looks light. I stayed away from it because it's such a like. First of all, I don't know if Brandon Ingram's playing. I fucking hate that. But also like the Pellies kind of owned the Thunder last year, even when the Thunder were full strength. So I don't know if it's a matchup thing. I don't know if the Thunder come back and are like, nah, now we've got more guys that are good, so we're gonna punch you in the mouth with Chet Holmgren. Da, da, da. So I kind of just stayed away, honestly,
Yeah.
from that one. But
What did you guys play?
do you have any bets, Brian? Before I jump in.
The only thing I bet is I have the only thing I have fully kind of like hammer cocked is I said it last night in our group chat. I took Jason Tatum over 25.5 points. I like Boston in that game just because I mean they put up like 400 points against the Wizards. Everyone got really light rest. I think their starters are going to get a run because I think no one played more than 28 minutes. So no matter what the score of that game is, I just think that the starters have a lot of value because with how big that spread is, I don't think they're going to necessarily cover that spread. But with the big spread, I feel like Jaylen Brown's 21.5, Jason Tatum's 25.5, all this stuff. The pace of that game's going to be crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. So that 235 total is going to be pushing it for props if you want to take it that
Aren't
way.
guys questionable for? I thought guys were questionable for the Pacers.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
NBA. Everybody's always questionable.
I mean,
Yeah, but they've got
Trae
all their
Young might
props
not
up.
play. Yeah, they have props. They don't have
They have
props up,
props for
right?
Tyrese Halliburton.
He's playing, I believe. The people that are questionable are Mathurin and Sticks. Jalen
Mathurin
Smith.
has props up.
Oh well, maybe they're playing.
Do you say Sticks?
Yeah, was it Jalen Smith? Isn't that what they call him? Yeah, Sticks.
Is that his
Yeah, he's
nickname?
skinny as shit.
I believe yeah, when he was with the
I know,
Suns,
I
it
know
was
it.
called him.
He's stupid skinny. That's
Yeah.
huge. That's a huge spread if all those dudes are actually playing. I thought none of them were playing. That's why I
Nah,
got.
yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, they just waxed the Washington Tank Zards.
Favorite snail in the chat. Yeah, said Trey Young Achilles. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted
Dude, that
last
was
night.
so good,
That was so
Brian. Brian for
funny.
the win.
That was
Yo,
so
now
fu-
Trey's got props up, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it was only funny because I was scrolling through Instagram. I just happened to see that Instagram story of him at Sky Zone, and I was like, "All right, isn't this guy questionable
Dude,
tomorrow with
don't sleep
Achilles?"
on your impact on the culture, Brian. I think you might be making Trey Young play tonight after you called him out for being at Sky Zone.
Yeah.
I took under Trey points in that game. I don't like he's still questionable, obviously, whatever. Everyone's questionable, but he's at 25.5. And I mean, look, I know the Wizards are terrible. I could see this being either a blowout factor or he doesn't even play that much, or he doesn't play and you get your ticket back. But it just seemed like a worth it under to me for his 25.5.
I mean,
At the
he's
same
played
time,
so bad.
I was thinking about Murray's
Yeah.
over 19.5 points, DeJounte Murray, who just dropped 38. But I haven't played either of those things. Things I did play, I'm taking Chicago plus 5.5 at Dallas without Kyrie. Kyrie's officially out. And Chicago's had their number the last couple of years and on the road as well. And in this situation, Chicago's good covering as a road dog. Dallas not good covering as a home favorite.
Seeing 4.5.
Is it down to 4.5?
4 at Bet Rivers, 4.5 on what Pickett does Pickett have any fives up, Brian?
Let me check the Pickett
I'm
app
also seeing
to go
4.5.
to.
Is that still playable?
The 4.5?
I feel like 4.5 is playable because I feel
Probably
like
playable. I love that
it
5
definitely
number.
opened at 5, but with Kyrie officially being out, I guess you lost half a point.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a 4.5. Yeah, at points. Yeah.
I feel like 4.5 still playable because
Damn, dog,
Kyrie.
I'm literally researching this stuff like an hour ago. Fuck me.
Yeah. Is
'cause
Denver not
I think
cheap
there's a big
too?
difference.
Like Denver minus 130 on the money line. I feel like I'm just with baseball ending, I'm starting to bet NBA more. I don't want to just be a sucker. Oh, Denver's the best team.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
going to win. Like it's the
Yeah,
squarest
I
thing
have
ever.
something for that for sure. I think you can if you have Denver. Is that minus 2.5 or 1.5 then for Denver?
-2 is the best.
Pretty cheap
on
money
Pickett.
line.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
and
was
-130 on the money
following
line.
this when it opened because it opened at -1 and it flew up to -4. And I started going as soon as this gets to 5.5, 5, you take the T-Wolves because in the situation, Denver not covering at home or on the road as favorites. Minnesota covers as at home as dogs, like 12-6 against the spread last year when they were home dogs. But it has to get up above 5 for that to matter. If it stays at the -2.5, -1.5 number, then you can still feel good about Denver. They've been rested at this point. They're in good situations as opposed to last year when they were sort of in bad situations. Then they're taking on Minnesota and didn't do as well. So
yeah,
I don't think it's a sucker bet. I think off bat, my first thought was total sucker bet, and then it stayed at 2.5. People kept betting it. Like people were aware that Minnesota plays them well. So
Knicks -6. Knicks and Cavs are playing again tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to say I was gonna bring that up and just say
so stupid.
Cavs look so bad. Like I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, they just won
I'm
by
assuming
40.
Garland and Allen are still out.
I know
haven't had any
Allen
new
likely
news.
is. I haven't heard any positive news for either of those guys.
Trying to figure out who's going to play at noon on it for an NBA slate is just a waste of our time. So it's not even. I mean,
no, but it's hyper relevant because that was why I was so comfortable with the Knicks -3 yesterday, which I gave out on the show and afterward, which was like there's Donnie Mitchell might play, but they're missing enough guys that matter that the Knicks are going to wipe the floor with them, own them. It's 6.5 now, right? Is that what it is for the Knicks?
Yeah, best line is 5.5 on Barstool.
I mean, they are back at home, but it's a back-to-back for both teams. It's so much up in the air. The Dubs and the Warrior or the Dubs and the Kings also a thing. Just going ahead and shameless plug to follow on Twitter because I'm like looking at the early lines for tomorrow every single day now. And the Dubs, I was saying if the Dubs and Kings without De'Aaron Fox in that game open at 230.5, 231, you hit the under. It opened at 234.5. So I just bet the under at 234.5, 233, and 232, and it's down to 227.5 now. So the value's gone, but like when Fox isn't in there, it's just this team plays a 97 pace versus the 100 they play with him, and like they scored 109 points per game without him last year versus 122 with him. I think there's still some value on the under there, but monitor if it goes up at all, then definitely hit under 230 in that game.
Favorite Snail saying, "Where are you seeing Kyrie out? All I see is questionable."
Yeah, he's been listed questionable both days.
There's an official out for him, wasn't there?
Not on Underdog. Underdog still has him as the questionable, but I'm not sure if
Man,
anywhere else because
I love you, underdog, but I think in the last little bit, I thought he was officially ruled out. The fuck team? Come on, dude.
Not seeing. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything definitive.
No, Sports Illustrated, but that was.
yeah. I
Oh
also
no,
think
it's
that
a different game.
yeah. Let me see. I was gonna say it was Will was talking about earlier. It's noon on a slate like this. It's hard to figure out who's playing, who's not. One of my favorite bets I want to take today is I want to fade Tyler Hero, but I just can't because you don't know who's in, who's out yet. Like, I mean, do you think Jimmy Butler is even going to attempt to play? They haven't played since what, Monday. He should be in, but uh, you can't make a bet until you happen to know, and then you waste losing so much good value on some of these lines because you're waiting too long. But
Yep.
I would rather not make a bet and then get blindsided by some bullshit on these injury reports.
It's happened to me twice now.
Oh, we didn't get
Yeah.
your thoughts, Brian, because you weren't on yesterday. Harden trade, and it reminded me of something because I'm seeing Westbrook's down to 21 for sixth man of the year. Is he going to get enough stats off the bench to maybe
He
win that
looked
award?
bad yesterday.
Oh, he looked terrible yesterday.
Did you see
Yeah.
the thing that happened was Terrence Mann's most improved player got slammed down from plus 1,400 to plus 200.
Really?
Most
I
is
know
now
Maxey was
14 to 1 to 2 to 1 based off of a trade.
Based off of the fact that like if Harden was still there, the path for his most improved player stats wasn't really there. If Harden's not there, it's wide open for
Do you
him.
mean Maxey? Because
Yeah,
Maxey's
what'd I
2 to
say?
1.
What'd I
Yeah.
say?
Terrence Mann.
Yeah, you said man. I'm about to say
I
yeah,
would tell you
Maxey
I
got
would tell you Maxey.
steamrolled. Yeah, no, Maxey
bad.
got steamrolled.
That's I love to bet no.
Yeah.
The most improved player.
Yeah, I love a yes no line on that. I mean, plus 2 to
Who-
1's a ridiculous
who do you,
price.
yeah, no, it's not there anymore.
I
I
think
have
he's
no idea
clearly
who
the
would win.
favorite, but yeah, 2 to 1 this early in the season is crazy to me.
I don't think anybody's clearly the favorite. It's such a vague award. And when wasn't he in the mix for it last year or the year before?
Yeah, it was last year. I just think
how can you
his
keep being
usage.
in the mix for it? It sort of what's the word I'm looking? It contradicts the whole point of the award. It's like, oh, most improved, I almost won most improved this year, and I'm going to win most improved next year. And then next year I'm going to win most. Like, how much can you keep improving? He's just good. I don't know. I don't know. See, we think we know what these
Stats.
voters are thinking, and we don't. That's why nobody should be plus 2 to 1. What are his stats? But if he's in the mix 1 year, how can he be
because James Harden isn't there now.
Right.
So he's the starting guard with all the volume. That's the problem, is like you can't give it to a guy who's, even if he looks good and you're like, wow, he's so much better than he was last year, you need the stats to back it up. So that's why you look for the guy who's wide open. That's why, like, Devin Vassell, even no matter what you say, even if he doesn't end up winning it because he's not that good, if he averages 17 or 18 points per game, like, that's better because it's of sheer volume. Like, he's finally.
I also think it's a bad line for Maxey because, like I said, I think he'd be great this year, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up a 37-7 stat line. That's going to be really tough. I know. I'm just saying, like, that's where he's at right now. But I stopped trying to cap what that award is once John Morant won it. After that year, I just kind of
that's what I mean. It's a very tricky.
Because I don't know about you, I thought John Morant was the second overall pick that played phenomenal his rookie year. So it's one of those things where it's tough to figure out what exactly they're looking for.
He won it his third year, right? Because I think I had it his second year to win it 75 to 1. Then he won it his third year.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Maxey averaged 20.3 a game last year. How is a guy who averaged 20 a game going to win most improved player? Because he's going to go to what? What's a fair over under for how many points he averages this year? 24? 25?
24 and a half.
Does that get you a bump when you go from 20 to 24? I don't know.
24 and a half is a good bump. Yeah, I mean, what about the assists and the rebounds too?
Yeah, no, I know.
The assist could. Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be a matter to see how he just looks in that offense. Because
if he averages 25-7 and there's like 4 or 5 rebounds and 7 assists, he's up there. Yeah. Now, not at 2 to 1.
At 2 to 1, and we're a week into the season. He could miss 6 weeks. Like, these guys all get hurt, and then he's not winning the award if he gets hurt. Like,
I guess the thing could be like if there's a path that he makes an All-Star game, his first All-Star season, like maybe that's one of your avenues for that award. But
I'm just saying
you can go from a 0 All-Star to an All-Star season, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I just think he had such a high level. He had such a high floor before that. I'm like, it's not like I think of most improved, a guy like came out of nowhere to be good, and he definitely didn't come out of nowhere. He's already been pretty.
I mean, Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I'm biased as a Sixers fan. He's just a good player. He's awesome.
And he's been a good player.
Super talented. He has another usage last year that he could have been for this All-Star season we're talking about. But yeah, I agree with Will there that I never once watched Tyrese Maxey play, even in his rookie season when he was raw, and said, "Oh, that guy's not going to pan out." Like, I don't think I've ever thought of that.
Plus, it's it's 2-1. Like we're a week
Yeah,
into the season, it's 2-1. Like that's insane to me. I don't know anybody I'd bet in this market. Kaminga at 20-1 is interesting. That number's moved down a little bit. I know Wagner has gone to 22-1. He's a guy a lot of people like. So again, and like Bridges is one of the favorites. Like Bridges has been good. Like I don't sort of get this. I don't really get this market. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anything
To
else
answer your
NBA?
question,
Yeah,
Will, that
go.
we got super carried away there. I know Brad was kind of going on Twitter and like in our group chat saying like, "Oh, Philly fans, like if I hear draft capital one more time, it's bullshit. Like bad trade." I'll say this: the fact that the Sixers got anything in return for
Totally
James Harden
agree.
is a win for me because it's addition by subtraction. But we talk about all the time with the Dame Lillard stuff and this and that. James Harden didn't report to camp. Told the owners, "I hate you. I don't want to play for you. I can only be traded to the Clippers. The Clippers don't want to give up Terrence Mann or any stars.
Yeah.
Make it work." So what avenue does it work out for us to get like the Sixers to get a superstar there? It was pigeonholed to the most degree. And then when you talk about the NBA now having these restrictions on, oh, if he's healthy, he's got to play. It's like, okay, but now he's not healthy. It's like, oh, we're gonna get fined. They had to move him quick, and there was no avenue to get anything better. So they
You
got
got
the expiring contracts. They got the swaps. They can add a big player down the road maybe, but that's the best you can ask for right now.
you only got a couple grand for your car, but you know what? Your car was totaled. Your car was not drivable anymore, and you still got a couple grand for it. Like that's basically the situation. I thought,
That's a good analogy because
yeah,
when I had my car that like, the brakes went out, it was just a chunk of metal. I couldn't drive it, couldn't fix
right,
it. I got $400 to junk it.
yes,
Was it worth $400?
$400
Not
you
really.
didn't have
It
before.
was
It's the
worth
same
like
thing.
probably like 10 grand at the current state it was beforehand. But once it went out, it was out.
Yes,
Like I'd rather get 10 cents on the dollar than nothing.
And at
totally
least
agree.
your car didn't go to China and start talking shit on you to everybody.
Not
That's
yet.
fair. Yeah, that's
Not
what I'm
yet.
saying. Like he straight up said, "I'm not playing for this team." So what are you gonna do?
And we could wrap
It's
with NFL, but I mean, Josh and I kicked around ideas yesterday. I think we both kind of agreed the Raptors guys, if anybody would be the one. Like, there's a next move for
Yeah.
Philly here in
OG.
order to win a championship. I don't know, Siakam, Anunoby, the next
I think
mad
OG
mini
Anunoby is a
star.
great
If
fit
they
for the
got
team.
both of those guys, I'd put them in the mix.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I don't think
They
Siakam and
Yeah.
Anunoby. No,
Yeah.
there's not enough. They
both
don't.
No, there's no way
take
in hell. That's
No,
my point of like how far away they are from being in the mix
both
for a
take.
East
I'd
title.
rather
isn't
have
that good though. The Celtics are good, but they.
Celtics are incredible, and the Nuggets are still incredible.
Yeah,
So
no, but I mean, you only got to worry about the East. If you're Philly, it's like looking around the East for now. And hey, do we have a path to get to the finals? And all right, Boston's really good, but they've had their issues in the playoffs. Milwaukee's obviously really good, but they Philly played pretty well against them the other day. I don't know if you added one more good player, you could talk yourself into like the Heat aren't as good anymore. The Nets aren't a factor, obviously. I don't know. Could you be a 2 seed and get to a conference finals and just see where you're at? Like, I don't think they're on that first tier of contenders, but they're not like that far off. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you watch certain analysis and this and that. Like yesterday, Charles Barkley on TNT, they asked him about the trade. He said the Sixers won. They were like, "Why?" He was like, "Well, because you only have to beat one team in the East." And I was like, "Okay, that has nothing to do with the trade, though." Like, I don't know. People just say things,
Yeah,
but
it's
I was gonna say my bold take is I think I'd rather the Sixers pursue OG Anunoby than the Zach Levine, only because cheaper, has more of a length to him, and I just think I don't know Zach Levine
you
would fit
can't put another
offensively.
small guard with Maxey. We talked about like Trey
Yeah,
Young and Trey Young and
it just
Maxey will just get destroyed in the playoffs.
it would create such a front court back court discrepancy that wouldn't work out on defense, and it would just be picked apart a lot. So I
Yep.
love Levine, and I just don't know if it'd be like the fit I would want with this team currently.
mm,
All right. Anything else? NFL. Heineke finally going to start. Arthur Smith, the Falcons coach, has been very adamant. Oh, Ritter's our guy. You guys are wrong. Watch the film. And now it's Heineke. Ritter's the backup, so he's cleared to play. This is a benching. Um,
Which
man,
I said last show, it pisses me off that they benched him like that. I feel like you got to own it. Like Arthur Smith, all this stuff talking about how it's his team, he doesn't care about what people think, and then he's gonna be like,
he's a
"Oh, he was
troll.
hurt." Like, come out and
right.
say that you benched your starter. You can't be the tough
He's
guy
got
that's like, I
real
don't care what
Elon
people
Musk
say.
vibes going on.
Yeah,
He's trolling
A
everyone.
lot of trades yesterday. Washington trades Chase Young to San
Yeah.
Francisco. Montez Sweat to the Bears. The Vikings get
Yeah.
Josh
Josh
Dobbs get their
Dobbs,
star
which
quarterback. I love it.
What do we do with that?
I don't. I like Atlanta -5 this week. Like Dobbs isn't going to play. Look, Jaron Hall on the road, less than a
Oh, Dobbs is
touchdown.
not even playing this week.
I don't think so. Sounds like it's going to be Hall.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this is the third system in like a couple of months for Dobbs. Remember, he spent the summer with the Browns. He was traded to the Cardinals
Yep.
a week or two before the season, and now another new team for Dobbs. It's
Right
amazing.
before that, he was with the Steelers.
He's going from 100-degree weather to like 6-degree weather in a week. It's gonna be.
Sucks.
Yeah.
He has to play inside.
Yeah, I know. But
Maybe
I don't know.
some prop worthy stuff though. If he figures out the offense at all, like he's got weapons.
Got great weapons. Got great weapons.
yeah. I guess my
Good
one
weapons,
thing I
as
wanted to
AJ
point on, I wanted to put on the show as I'm looking for Thursday Night Football. I backed Kenny Pickett last week. I loved it. He got hurt. He's playing tomorrow. Do we think that's a good idea? Like, I kind of want to bet him again because it is the Titans that are a pass final team. But is he going to be effective? I mean,
You want to bet his under?
I would. I want to bet overs against the Titans pass defense. But is he going to be effective? Like, I don't know what to think about that overall.
What do you have? 50 yards through two quarters though in the game that he came out.
I think it's 73 through like two, but he didn't have the 2-minute drill. He probably would have been close. They had 100 passing yards going in the half. I just mean the Titans are such a pass funnel team. We know that Najee Harris is not going to give you enough, on the ground against the Titans team. So I'm going to find a way to bet the passing yards or the Steelers passing attack against this team. But I just don't know if we're going to see Kenny Pickett for 4 quarters.
I would just say yes. Betting philosophy says do not play a player over if he's banged up at all because you're asking.
The only thing I was like reading into too is he was going to play in the in the game on Sunday. Like he was going to return, and they decided like, oh, with a short week, we're just going to hold him out, make sure he's fine. So that's comforting, but it's so tough to try to cap a guy that's hurt. It's the same thing with NBA. It's hard to cap a guy on the injury report because you don't know what to expect from it. Even in a matchup like this, which is such a beautiful matchup against the Titans, but maybe some Deontay Johnson, some props there for him because I do think the passing game should be fine either way, whether it's me in there or Kenny Pickett.
Well, speaking of the passing game, we should mention that Will Levis made a lot of people look stupid very recently.
Yeah.
What's his passing prop is 201.5. It's fucking throwing bombs. Like you can get that in three chucks of the ball.
Yeah. Unless the Steelers defense is legit, though. It'd be tough. And I'll say this. I'm not betting either side of it, but I'm very excited to see how that's going to play out. The guy second start versus like a tough defense. That'd be interesting to see what
DeAndre
happens.
Hopkins 52.5 1 week after a $128 or whatever.
Yeah. Derrick Henry 12.5. That's been so good to me all season. I think I'm 3-0 on that.
Is Levis worth taking a shot 35-1 rookie of the year?
Wow. I don't know. What if Malik Willis takes his spot?
What if the Texans win their division?
Did you see that though, Will? That they tried to do that whole split quarterback thing for the first drive. Malik Willis came in, fumbled the first snap, and they're like, "All right, let's just put an end. Let's just put an end to that whole like the debacle we had."
He's not an NFL quarterback. He's just not. I don't know. What do you guys 35-1? No.
I was trying to really think of what the who's combating him, right? Like now it's Stroud, isn't it?
Stroud's -175, which I don't know that he should be -175. The rest of the class is catchable. Gibbs down to 12-1. Bijan hasn't done a whole lot. 13-1.
Arthur Smith is making Bijan Robinson look.
You don't touch Bijan
distant.
Anymore,
It looks like a distant dream with his 3 touches a game.
Puka Nacua doesn't really have a quarterback, and he's cooled off with Kupp coming back. I don't know, 35-1. Let's just say he throws 3 touchdowns tomorrow night or 4 touchdowns again tomorrow night. That number is going to be like 8-1.
You're right on, Will.
Yeah, I mean,
Stroud is the thing because he's got 8 games.
He's cooled off a little bit too. Like he wasn't great the other day. He's played pretty well, but
you're right. But what's the division like for them right now?
Oh, Jags are like -700 or something. Which
I
don't think he needs team success as long as he plays. Like they give it to the quarterback, and as long as he plays 17 games and plays relatively well.
I wasn't saying that Stroud's team finishing better hurts him. I was saying does Stroud's team have a chance to make legit noise going into the postseason, which would just put him over the top of like you're a winner in your freshman year, like in the league, like you're good to go. But no, if it's like who's got better stats on 2 500 football teams.
Right.
Will Levis is going to put up some stats. Well, let's slow down a little bit. I mean, the Falcons do have a decent defense. It could have been a little bit by surprise if you start to get a game script for him, right? Maybe it's like 3 games in and you know what he wants to do. I don't know. but like 35 to 1 right now without Stroud like being
I don't know that
impressive anymore.
I don't know that I'd bet it at like 15 to 1 or 20 to 1, but at 35 to 1,
Yeah,
not
maybe a
terrible.
sprinkle.
Not terrible. Again, if he plays really well tomorrow night, all of a sudden it's like he becomes a story. It's a guy out of nowhere. It's a guy who dropped in the draft. Like you want to be able to get ahead of the moves, get ahead of like the narrative. So I don't know,
Do you
35 to 1.
do
I
you have a rookie of the year ticket offensive?
don't think I do. I
Do you,
might,
Brian?
might have played Gibbs at like 12 to nothing big, nothing where I'm like, I can't bet any more on this market. I haven't bet a lot on it. So
Yeah, I don't have any current tickets in for that market.
yeah.
I just
Me neither.
season long markets are so tough for me. I don't know, like maybe I'm boring, but I just feel like anything I have like 2 or 3 sprinkles and it's fun to root for. I don't usually have a whole lot of features, throughout the whole season. Like in my bet slip, it just you forget about one or the other because there's just so many of them.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, I got to go back because I know I got Tyreek Hill 20 to 1. I got him 9 to 1. Offensive player of the year. I got both those tickets.
Oh, I gotta check that spreadsheet
I was
for
like,
us.
do I have
Yeah,
another Tyreek Hill ticket? So I got to go back and check because I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, I might have another third offensive player of the year ticket for him that I forgot about.
The only thing I
Yeah.
do have is what was it? If we did that draft, the only thing I bet on like with more money than like just sprinkle was probably Jalen Carter at
Yeah.
7 to 1 for the defensive rookie of the year. That's the only thing I really have
That's
in
going to
there.
be in good shape. How about O'Connell 50 to 1 rookie? He's going to start starting now. Like he's going to be their starter at 50 to 1. I mean, same sort of idea where if he plays well for the Raiders, they're going to bench Garoppolo.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a
That
starting
team's just
quarterback.
that team's just a mess.
They're a mess. They're a mess. Yep, they are.
I had
I like how they
Devontae
I like how they
Adams under
fired
last
I like how they fired coach and GM at like 2 a.m. to try to like
Yeah.
make sure no one knew about it.
Strange. Definitely strange. Didn't work out. I mean, you
could've
miss on
thought
all
that
those
that-
picks for so long. It's tough.
Yeah. Who could have foreseen Mark Davis, pumpkin haired freak, being bad at this?
And I thought it was.
Yeah.
Remember, McDaniels was like the hot commodity. Everyone remember he almost coached the Colts. Like he turned down so many jobs for so long. I was surprised the Raiders was the job he jumped and took. Like, why do you want to be in the division with Mahomes, with Herbert? That like
He tried that already.
right there.
After he failed in Denver, what did everybody? Why was there still a thought process that he was a good head coach?
Well, I'll take the other side of it. And was like, all right, you know what? Anybody who does a job, like you learn from it and you can get better. Like Belichick supposedly failed at Cleveland, like he got fired. I mean, he was right around 500, like he was
He was a
horrible. But
500
you say,
coach.
hey, you know what? He maybe he learned. Like Jason Kidd has actually turned into a good coach. He spent time as an
Belichick
assistant
never
around
kicked a
LeBron.
field goal down 8.
Trust me, I know. But that was before they hired him. I'm just saying when they hired him again, it was like my whole point here is like why McDaniels took that job. Like he turned down so many jobs. I don't get why
know.
the Raiders was like, all right, like you were setting yourself up to fail. Like it wasn't
Money.
a great team.
Didn't he get paid, hella?
I'm sure, but I'm sure these other jobs offered him a lot. Like now he's done as a head coach. You're never going to be a head coach.
Money
again.
talks. I mean, I forgot that Williams was even a coach in the NBA until I saw him on the Pistons sideline. I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I forgot.
got a lot.
I forgot he went to the
But here's the
Pistons.
thing: when you've been fired once, you have to be so careful about the second job you take because you don't get that third chance unless you have like you've had a ton of success elsewhere. Like he's not going to be a head coach anymore. He'll go somewhere and be an offensive coordinator for
Yeah,
the
he
next
got
probably 15, 20 years. But
yeah, that's why he went there. He's getting paid more than Mike Vrabel, Doug Peterson, and most of the other. He's the 7th highest paid coach at 10 million.
maybe they just paid him so much where he's like, all right, this is the
That's
time
what I'm
I
saying.
have
They
to
just
do
paid
it.
him like Gruden.
Aren't they still
Yeah.
paying Gruden too? And
They
now
are
they have to
still
pay.
paying.
Yeah, and now they have to still pay McDaniels. Like that's such a mess. That they're gonna have 3 coaches on the
And the
Mark
guy
Davis.
payroll.
the guy they put in for Gruden did pretty well. He got into the playoffs. Remember? I mean, it was a weird season, but the guy Bisaccia, like he did a decent job.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Arshell's
know.
been their head coach like 9 times.
Yes, he has, like the Billy Martin of the Raiders.
All right, let's roll out.
All right, I think we can wrap on that. We did a lot. Baseball, basketball, football. Baseball season might end tonight. We'll see. If not, we get a game 6, and who knows? If Arizona wins tonight, you're 1 win away from a game 7. So it feels over, but who knows? Boys, it was fun. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Chat was good. Thank you to Pickett, Sleeper. You guys are here noon Eastern. I'm back Friday. So good luck with all the plays. See you guys then.
Later.